Welcome to the NWI.com Political Roundtable for Friday, November 4th. I'm Robert Blaszkiewicz, Assistant Managing Editor of The Times. Here with me today, Mark Kiesling, Times columnist. We'll be back with a special edition of the Roundtable on Sunday. Doug Ross and I will be talking about the Times endorsements in this year's election. But today, what we want to discuss, Mark, is something that you've been working on for a long time, something that, if people are watching this on Friday, something that you wrote about in today's newspaper, and that's the State Board of Accounts report on the Lake County Sheriff's Department.
Well, not only the State Board of Accounts reports, but other reports that have shown, at least during the past year, 2 years, missing money, questionable actions within the Sheriff's Department.
Now, we've already seen in the Sheriff's Department recently, we've seen the indictments, three officers charged,
including the former deputy chief.
Including the former deputy chief in what was basically a purported to be a plot to purchase guns using Sheriff's Department letterhead and then resell those guns.
It was a gun running scheme, and some of those guns have reportedly been sold overseas, and one of them went to Mississippi, where the individual who purchased it over the internet attempted to use it to kill a police officer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of discontent within the department, knowing that a gun that was sold by the Lake County, ostensibly by the Lake County Sheriff's Department, not really, was used to try to kill a police officer.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
this State Board of Accounts report goes far beyond that case,
and actually doesn't even address that case at all. It's just more and more trouble piling on for the administration of former Sheriff Roy Dominguez. As I try to put out in the column, Dominguez spent a great deal of 2010 out of the office, crisscrossing Indiana, attempting to drum up support for a gubernatorial run. How much he knew, how little he knew, we don't know. It could be a case of, well, the cat was away, the mice were playing. So we don't know that.
Yeah. Now Dominguez is currently running for Lake County Commissioner.
Yeah.
And so
far.
So far. So
things like this continue to come out. It just does not. The county commissioners are your fiscal body. The State Board of Accounts report was very troubling in its assessment of the way the fiscal records of the Sheriff's Department were handled. I mean, we talk, they talk about the inability of them to reconcile bank accounts. During the year 2010, 42 fraudulent checks totaling $106,447.19 drawn against the Sheriff Inmate Trust account. These are accounts that have to do with the jail, and they're discretionary to a certain degree in how the sheriff can spend them. But he does have to spend them on law enforcement, some type of law enforcement related activity. We hear, you've got the St. Sava Serbian Church Golf Classic, 2-hole classic sponsor, 8 additional lunch tickets. Well, I mean, I suppose you could, the argument could be made there that, well, we're promoting the Sheriff's Department to lunch. Coincidentally or not, that happens to be the church of former police chief Marko Kajasic, who is one of the men suspended in this probe of the gun running scheme. One of the men who was suspended and pleaded guilty and is awaiting sentencing and is supposedly cooperating with the federal government is former deputy chief Joe Cumstar. He gets $615.88 for the reimbursement for MP3 players. We're not quite sure why that benefits the sheriff's department. $359.38 went to Oscar Sanchez, who was, after Marco Kajasic decided not to run, became Dominguez's handpicked candidate to be the next sheriff. Dominguez not being able to succeed himself because he had already filled out 2 terms. Explanation: reimbursement of meals, which did not indicate the business nature. You're supposed to document the business nature of the lunch and who attended the lunch.
Yeah. Now, Mark, what was the process with the State Board of Accounts report? Is it a routine report that was done?
It's a routine report. It's the State Board of Accounts is not a prosecutorial body. All they do is they come in and they say, "Yep, your stuff balances," or "No, it doesn't," and then they're done. And they'll issue a report like this, saying you're in good standing. We took a look at your stuff. The income met the outgo,
right,
and you're able to account for everything you spent. And that's the ideal. This is not the ideal report. This is not the report people want to see. But the State Board of Accounts is not going to prosecute. Instead, now it becomes probably either up to the Indiana Attorney General to decide whether he wants to recoup these funds, or if there is some thought as to some criminal prosecution for the misuse of these funds.
And we have yet to hear from anyone in the Sheriff's Department at that time explaining, this report. So
right. Well, we hope that'll come out. This report was just released. It was filed November 1st. I got a copy of it on Thursday, and it was released by the State Board of Accounts this morning, Friday morning, after we had already published it. So Doug, our missing colleague Doug, said he was on the internet last night at 11 o'clock, and the State Board had not yet filed this report. And he said he got up this morning and it had been filed. So sometime after our newspaper came out with this report, the State Board of Accounts opted to file the reports. Whether it's cause and effect, I don't know, or whether they were just going to file anyhow, I don't know. But not only is the Sheriff's Department looked at in some detail, but the Lake County Free Drug Alliance is also given a pretty
Drug Free Alliance.
They are given a pretty good once over, and if you look at some of those expenses, there are some that raise an eyebrow. There's I believe a lunch at at Meyer Castle that should have marked it here so I could zip right to it, but here we are on 12/14/09, Meyer Castle, almost $4,000, $3,819.96 for lunches. No indication of attendees or the business purpose for that. That's $4,000 out of the county drug fighting money to go to pay for lunches, for which there's no explanation.
And these are expenditures singled out by the State Board of Accounts as expenditures they have questions
peculiar.
about, that they want more information about.
Well, let me give it to you in their own words. The following is a list of expenditures from the County Drug-Free Fund, which either due to a lack of adequate supporting documentation or based upon information provided, did not support the allowable uses of the program funds as provided by state statute. Turning that into English, it just says, you didn't tell us where you spent the money, and there's no indication the money was used for the purpose for which it was intended, which is to fight drugs.
Yeah.
There are large expenditures here. There's $2,500 going to the Puerto Rican Parade and Cultural Organization of Northwest Indiana. It was a grant, but no indication is how it would be used by a parade to combat drugs.
Right.
Almost as much, $2,450, going to Organization Development Solutions, Inc. No explanation as to how this relates to the program.
Yeah.
And they go on and on and on. And you could, the nice thing now is that you don't have to take my word for it. You can go online, look at this for yourself, and it's right there in black and white for you.
Well, yeah, the reports are out there, so you can take a look at them, and we look forward to hearing from those in the Sheriff's Department and on the Drug-Free Alliance to find out their response to this and their explanation. So.
Now, there will be a continuing series of stories over the weekend and into Monday, detailing some of the things on this list, kind of boiling it down for the public. I'm not sure everyone wants to wade through all this, but that's what I'm paid to do. And I apologize for some lame columns recently, but when you're wading through reams of government documents, you don't always have time to throw together the best the best stuff. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look forward to obviously hearing more about this. And like I said at the beginning, stay tuned on Sunday for a special election edition of the Political Roundtable. So until next.
And election is next
Tuesday. Exactly. So until then, we'll be back next week with another Political Roundtable.